Have you ever observed the elegance with which a river flows, winding its way around obstacles, never rushing yet always reaching its destination? Or watched a tree grow, stretching towards the sky, never straining but always expanding? There's a rhythm, a natural pulse to life, a kind of harmonious dance that doesn't rely on force or strain, yet achieves the seemingly impossible. The power of not trying. What if I told you that the same principle could be applied to your own life? What if the very act of not trying could get you closer to your goals than years of hard grind and force? Welcome to a journey into the profound philosophy of the East, where the idea of non-action or Wu Wei originated from. It's a concept that has shaped the lives of countless individuals, guiding them towards a life of harmony, peace, and yes, achievement. But to live this way, you need to unlearn a lot of conditioning because it goes against what we all have been taught since we were children. Before we dive into the wisdom of effortless manifestation, please give this video a like. This helps the channel to grow organically. Namaste, my friend. A counterintuitive wisdom. In today's relentless, hustle-driven world, the very thought of achieving something without aggressive action sounds at best like a romantic dream and, at worst, sheer laziness. But Wu Wei is neither. It's the intricate art of knowing when to act and when to remain still. What is Wu Wei? Understanding Wu Wei. This term might be new to many of you. Originating from Taoist philosophy, this ancient Chinese term literally translates to non-action or non-doing. But much like many age-old philosophical concepts, the meaning goes far deeper than its literal translation. It's not about sitting under a tree while life happens around you. Instead, it's about aligning one's actions so perfectly with the natural flow of circumstances that everything seems to fall into place effortlessly. The martial artist's wisdom. Imagine a martial artist who is waiting patiently and in balance. When the opponent strikes, the artist doesn't use unnecessary force. Instead, they channel the momentum, use the energy given to them, and move in harmony with the situation. That, in essence, is Wu Wei. It's the ability to recognize when to exert effort and when to let things unfold, trusting that the universe, or the Tao, is always in a natural state of balance. The paradox of Wu Wei, effortless action. Here lies the paradox. In a world that champions the idea of more effort equals more results, the Taoist principle of Wu Wei suggests the opposite. Sometimes it's in the space of non-action, in the pause, the breath, the waiting, that true power is realized. It's a counterintuitive thought, isn't it? That by trying less we might achieve more. By letting go of our need to control every outcome, we might find that outcomes align more harmoniously with our desires. Real-life examples. Consider the last time you tried to force a result. Maybe you were trying to convince someone of your viewpoint, or perhaps you were pushing hard for a work project to come to fruition in a specific way. How did that feel? Tense, exhausting, frustrating. Now recall a time where you set an intention, did your part, and then let things unfold. The difference in these two approaches is not just in the outcomes, but in the journey itself. The active engagement of Wu Wei, a deeply active process. And please don't get me wrong, this isn't about advocating passivity. Quite the opposite. Wu Wei is deeply active. It requires acute awareness, keen observation, and a deep connection with one's environment and self. The key difference is where the action comes from, a place of force or a place of alignment. East meets West. To truly grasp the depth of Wu Wei, we must first journey back in time, traversing the landscapes of ancient China, where atop misty mountains and within serene temples, the seeds of Taoism were sown. The concept of Wu Wei is not just a passing thought or a modern trend. It's a profound wisdom deeply embedded in the halls of Eastern philosophy. Taoism and Wu Wei. The Tao Te Ching, Taoism or Taoism as it's sometimes referred to, is an ancient philosophical and spiritual tradition that has shaped Chinese culture for over 2 millennia. At its heart lies the Tao, or Tao, often translated as the Way. However, much like Wu Wei, Tao is a term so vast and profound that it's somewhat elusive to direct translation, the source of all existence. The Tao is described as the ultimate, the source, the underlying nature of all existence. It's both the beginning and the end, the path and the traveler. And it is in this cosmic dance of the Tao that the principle of Wu Wei finds its rhythm. The most revered text in Taoism, the Tao Te Ching, penned by the mysterious figure Laozi, offers pearls of wisdom about this principle. Laozi's wisdom. Here's a taste from chapter 37 of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The paradoxical essence of this concept is palpable in these lines. The Tao, in its non-action, gives rise to all action. It's not the clanging, noisy efforts, but the silent, profound stillness that brings forth the universe's dance. When we align with the Tao, when we flow in harmony with the natural order, we can achieve more than when we swim against the current. Zen Buddhism and Wu Wei, the Zen connection. But Taoism isn't the only Eastern philosophy that reveres principles akin to Wu Wei. Journeying eastward from China, we touch the shores of Japan, where Zen Buddhism flourished. Zen, with its emphasis on meditation, mindfulness, and presence, echoes the sentiments of Wu Wei in its teachings. The practice of shikantaza. While Zen doesn't directly speak of non-action, it profoundly emphasizes the state of being over doing. Consider the Zen practice of shikantaza, or just sitting. It's a form of meditation where one isn't trying to do anything, think anything, or achieve anything. Instead, it's about simply being, observing, and existing. It's a radical act of pure presence, where the meditator is not seeking enlightenment, but is instead just being in the moment. This just being, while seemingly passive, is an intense form of active engagement with the present. Nishkama Karma. Moreover, while Zen and Taoism might be the most prominent, many other Eastern traditions echo similar sentiments. The ancient Indian philosophy of Nishkama Karma from the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, speaks of action without attachment to results, a theme closely resonant with Wu Wei's principles. It's fascinating to observe that despite the geographical, linguistic, and cultural divides, there seems to be a universal thread weaving through these philosophies. Universal wisdom. They all point towards a profound truth. Sometimes it's not our forceful interventions, but our gentle surrender, our alignment with the greater cosmic dance that brings about the most profound outcomes. Whether it's the silent Tao guiding all existence, the Zen master just sitting in profound presence, or the Gita's call to act without attachment, the message is clear. There is an art, a subtle beauty, in not trying, in just being, and in flowing with the currents of life. Bhumi in practice. The depth of Wu Wei. Bhumi in practice. The depth of Wu Wei. As we delve deeper into the philosophical waters of the East, the term Wu Wei rises as a lighthouse, guiding us towards understanding a distinctive approach to life. It's a phrase that intrigues, conjuring images of stillness, perhaps even of monks atop secluded mountains. But what does it truly signify? Linguistic origins. Let's commence with the linguistics. Wu Wei is a Chinese term where Wu translates to not or without, and Wei means doing or action. Together they frame the idea of non-action or non-doing. But herein lies a quandary. A superficial interpretation might suggest inertia, stagnation, or passive idleness. However, that would be a grievous misinterpretation of a profound philosophy that has been a guiding light for sages, rulers, and thinkers for centuries. The elegance of natural action. This principle is akin to the elegance of a dancer lost in the performance, so engrossed in the moment that every move feels not like a calculated step, but a natural extension of their being. It's the painter whose brush flows freely across the canvas, not directed by the conscious mind, but guided by a spontaneous spirit. Water, the ultimate metaphor. The wisdom of water. The natural world has always been a reservoir of wisdom, offering insights into life's deeper truths. For the sages of the East, especially Laozi, one element stood out as an unparalleled teacher: water. This simple, unassuming substance, covering the majority of our blue planet, becomes a potent metaphor in the hands of the Taoist philosopher, providing us with profound insights into the essence of Wu Wei. Laozi's teachings. In the Tao Te Ching, Laozi articulates the philosophy of Wu Wei using the metaphor of water in numerous passages. One of the most notable mentions is, "Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it." The nature of water. Water's nature is not to resist, not to challenge head-on, and certainly not to rush. Yet it is always persistent, always moving, always finding a way. Think of a meandering river. It doesn't take a straight path, nor does it force its way through obstacles. It carves its path patiently, molding the very landscape around it over time. Even when confronted with a rock or a mountain, water doesn't halt. It simply finds a way around, under, or over it. The essence of Wu Wei. Such is the essence of Wu Wei, acting without unnecessary force, allowing things to unfold, and gracefully navigating the path of least resistance. Laozi's emphasis on water illustrates a crucial aspect of resilience. In contemporary understanding, resilience might be misconstrued as toughness or rigidity. But true resilience, as symbolized by water, is in its adaptability, its flexibility. Water takes the shape of any container it's put in, yet it retains its essence. It can be as soft as a morning dewdrop or as powerful as a tidal wave, adapting to its context without losing its core nature. Resilience and adaptability. Similarly, when we embody these principles in our lives, we develop a resilience that doesn't stem from mere stubbornness or grit, but from a deep understanding and alignment with the flow of life. When faced with adversity, rather than breaking under pressure or resisting change, we learn to adapt, evolve, and find new ways, just as water would. Every obstacle, much like the boulders in a stream, offers an opportunity, a chance to recalibrate, reassess, and find a new path. The rocks don't deter the water, they merely change its course. Modern psychology and Wu Wei. Flow state. As we traverse the landscape of thought from the whispering pines of ancient China to the bustling laboratories and lecture halls of 20th century psychology, there emerges a fascinating confluence. The wisdom of Wu Wei, as it meets modern psychological understanding, finds a vibrant echo in a term that's piqued the interest of thinkers, athletes, artists, and professionals alike: the flow state. A pioneering figure in positive psychology. A pioneering figure in positive psychology introduced the concept of flow to the wider world through his groundbreaking research. He describes flow as a state of complete immersion in an activity wherein an individual is so engrossed that everything else seems to fade away. Time appears to warp, self-consciousness diminishes, and all that matters is the task at hand. In his own words, flow is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost for the sheer sake of doing it. At the heart of both Wu Wei and the flow state lies the concept of effortlessness, not in the sense of lack of exertion, but as a harmonious alignment that removes the sensation of strain. When one is in a flow state, there isn't a feeling of trying hard. Instead, actions and decisions arise spontaneously, guided by intuition and experience. This mirrors the teachings of Wu Wei, where actions are in alignment with the nature of the self and the universe, transcending the realm of forced effort. Present moment awareness is another common thread weaving through both philosophies. In the flow state, individuals are deeply anchored in the now. They aren't distracted by past regrets or future anxieties. Every ounce of their attention is riveted on the present task. Similarly, Wu Wei emphasizes the importance of moving with the natural rhythms of the present moment, unburdened by the weights of past and future. The environment and our alignment with it play a pivotal role in both concepts. In Csikszentmihalyi's flow, an individual's skills are perfectly matched with the challenge at hand. There's a harmonious balance where neither boredom from a task being too easy nor anxiety from a task being too hard can prevail. This equilibrium resonates deeply with Wu Wei's call for aligned action, where one acts in harmony with the external environment, neither overreaching nor underperforming. A particularly fascinating overlap is the transcendence of the self. In the throes of a flow state, the ego, with all its insecurities and self-consciousness, dissolves. One becomes the action they are performing, be it painting, running, writing, or any other activity. This dissolution of the self offers a profound sense of fulfillment and contentment. In the embrace of Wu Wei, a similar transcendence is observed. By aligning with the Tao, the way of the universe, one moves beyond the narrow confines of the self. There's a melding into a larger tapestry, a harmonious union with the world around, which brings about deep inner peace and satisfaction. In the realms of modern psychology, the flow state has been linked to heightened creativity, increased productivity, and enhanced well-being. From athletes breaking records to artists crafting masterpieces, the fingerprints of flow are evident. Csikszentmihalyi's research provides a scientific framework for what ancient Taoist sages intuited centuries ago. Both perspectives, despite the vast chasm of time and culture between them, advocate for a life of harmony, alignment, and joyful immersion. In the echoes between Wu Wei and the flow state, we witness a testament to the universality of certain truths. Whether articulated through the poetic metaphors of Laozi or the empirical research of Csikszentmihalyi, the message remains consistent. True fulfillment and excellence arise not from strained effort, but from harmonious alignment with oneself, the task, and the world. In the vast mosaic of human civilizations, each culture has painted its unique strokes, shaped by geography, history, and collective aspirations. As we shift our lens westward from the tranquil banks of ancient Chinese wisdom, we encounter a markedly different ethos. Here, the drumbeat of doing reverberates with unwavering intensity. But this tireless march, while propelling societies to dizzying heights, also casts long shadows of exhaustion and ennui. Let's dive into this dynamic, understanding its origins, its implications, and its challenges. From the towering skyscrapers that scrape the heavens to the unceasing hum of metropolises that never sleep, the Western world is a testament to human ambition. Historically, this part of the world has lionized the idea of action. The American dream, for instance, encapsulates this sentiment. With hard work, determination, and a bit of luck, anyone can climb the ladder of success. It's an ethos of manifest destiny, of conquering frontiers both external and internal. Renaissance Europe saw a burst of creativity and exploration, celebrating human potential and individualism. The subsequent Industrial Revolution further entrenched the idea of ceaseless productivity, with machines and men working round the clock, transforming societies and economies. In the modern era, this celebration of action has found new avatars. The Silicon Valley startup culture, with its hustle hard mantra, the self-help industry's emphasis on goal setting and achievement, and even our social media landscapes that reward constant engagement, all echo the same message. To be is to do. But like Icarus soaring ever higher on waxen wings, this relentless pursuit has its perils. The consequences are manifold, affecting individuals and societies at large. Once considered a fringe phenomenon, burnout is now recognized as a legitimate syndrome by health bodies like the World Health Organization. It's characterized by emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced efficacy in work. This isn't merely tiredness, it's a profound depletion of the human spirit. The pressure to be always on, always performing, and always reaching for the next milestone has turned stress into a ubiquitous companion for many. Chronic stress, as numerous studies suggest, has debilitating effects on physical health, mental well-being, and overall life satisfaction. Ironically, the obsession with constant action often leads to inefficiency. The myth of multitasking, the inability to disconnect, and the erosion of deep, focused work mean that while we might be busier than ever, we aren't necessarily more productive. The quality of output, creativity, and innovation often suffers in the relentless churn of activity. Amidst the endless hustle, there's a creeping sense of existential void. Many begin to question the purpose of their incessant efforts. Is it merely for material accumulation, social validation, Or is there a deeper meaning to life that gets obscured in the blinding dust of constant movement? The Western emphasis on doing has undoubtedly led to remarkable advancements, innovations, and improvements in living standards. But as with all things, balance is crucial. The pendulum, which has swung towards relentless action, might need some recalibration. Eastern philosophies, with their emphasis on being, on harmony, and on aligned action, like the concept of Wu Wei we explored, offer a counterpoint. They invite a reconsideration of our relentless pursuit, suggesting that sometimes, in letting go of forced effort, in tuning into the rhythms of nature and life, and in embracing stillness amidst the storm, we might find not just peace but also a more profound, sustainable, and joyous productivity. As our world becomes ever more interconnected, there's an opportunity, a necessity even, to engage in a cross-cultural dialogue, to understand the strengths and limitations of different worldviews and weave together a tapestry that draws from the best of both. In this synthesis, there's hope for a future where achievement and well-being work hand in hand, where the rivers of action and introspection merge, leading us to shores of greater understanding and fulfillment. In the luminous glow of ancient wisdom, abstract concepts often float like ethereal clouds. Their beauty and depth are undeniable, but how do we tether these lofty notions to the grounded realities of our daily lives? How can one employ the serenity and wisdom of Wu Wei amidst deadlines, digital distractions, and never-ending to-do lists? Let's embark on this journey, seeking tangible strategies inspired by Wu Wei, enabling us to navigate our fast-paced world with grace and purpose. The grace of letting go. By letting it go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond the winning. Laozi. One of the most potent lessons from Wu Wei is recognizing the power of non-action, especially when action doesn't align with the natural course. In our everyday life, this can translate into understanding when to pause, step back, or even abandon a task. For example, if you're facing a creative block or are entangled in a persistent disagreement with someone, sometimes it's best to step away for a moment, take a break, and allow space for clarity to emerge. This isn't defeat or avoidance, it's strategic non-action, allowing the natural course of things to take over. In the workspace, this might mean knowing when to delegate or when to leave space for a colleague to come to a realization on their own. In personal relationships, it might be choosing not to react impulsively, allowing emotions to settle before responding. Cultivating patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Laozi. Understanding the rhythm of life. Trees don't sprout overnight. Seasons transition with an innate rhythm, and the cosmos moves in its time. Wu Wei teaches us that, like nature, our lives too have a rhythm. Embracing patience doesn't mean being passive or lackadaisical. It means acknowledging that not everything is within our immediate control. Whether you're awaiting the germination of a seed you've planted, the fruition of a project, or the evolution of a personal relationship, patience becomes a powerful ally. It provides a buffer against anxiety, the urge to interfere, or to hasten processes that naturally require time. In a practical sense, this could translate to not constantly checking for responses after sending an important email, giving space to new team members to adjust and align with company culture, or understanding that personal growth and learning have their own pace, distinct for each individual. The paradox of over-effort. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are that you'll cut your hand. Laozi. In our obsession with results, we sometimes overextend ourselves, exerting effort to the point of diminishing returns. Wu Wei invites us to reconsider this approach, emphasizing that over-effort can be counterproductive. Imagine you're stirring a pot of soup. If you stir it gently, the ingredients blend harmoniously. But if you stir too vigorously, the soup splashes, ingredients break down, and the texture is ruined. Similarly, in tasks that require delicate handling, overexertion can lead to mistakes, burnout, and reduced effectiveness. This principle can be applied in various contexts, like when studying for an exam. Instead of cramming all night, Trust in the consistent effort you've put in over time, allowing your mind to rest and consolidate knowledge. In leadership, it might mean trusting your team, refraining from micromanaging, and instead fostering an environment where members can thrive and self-organize. Harmony with natural rhythms. To lead people, walk behind them. Laozi Wu Wei emphasizes aligning with the natural rhythms and flows around us. In modern life, this could be understood as harmonizing our schedules with our personal energy levels, recognizing natural peaks in productivity, and aligning work with those periods. For instance, if you find your creative juices flowing early in the morning, prioritize tasks requiring creative problem-solving during those hours. Conversely, if you notice an afternoon slump, use that time for less intensive tasks, like organizing or responding to routine emails. Furthermore, this principle encourages us to recognize and respect the rhythms of those around us. In teamwork, understanding that each member has their unique peak productivity times can help in planning tasks and meetings in a manner that respects these natural rhythms, leading to increased overall efficiency and harmony. The power of non-interference. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? Laozi. In our eagerness to solve problems or drive outcomes, we sometimes interfere too soon or too much. Wu Wei teaches the wisdom of non-interference, of allowing situations to unfold naturally before stepping in. Consider a mentor guiding a mentee. Instead of immediately providing solutions, a mentor might allow the mentee to grapple with a problem, encouraging them to find their path. This not only fosters independent problem-solving skills, but also leads to more sustainable learning. In gardening, instead of constantly fussing over plants, sometimes the best action is to simply provide the right conditions and let nature take its course. The same applies to parenting, where allowing children to navigate challenges within safe boundaries fosters resilience and growth. Intentional stillness. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Laozi. In the whirlwind of modern life, stillness can be a revolutionary act. Carving out moments of intentional stillness, whether through meditation, a quiet walk in nature, or simply sitting in silence, can recalibrate our internal compass. These moments of quiet allow for reflection, helping us discern the essential from the trivial. They serve as anchors, grounding us amidst the chaos and providing clarity and calm. In a practical sense, integrating short, mindful breaks into your daily routine can enhance productivity and well-being. Whether it's a few minutes of deep breathing between tasks or a digital detox period during the weekend, these pockets of stillness rejuvenate the mind and spirit, aligning us more closely with the principles of Wu Wei. Gratitude and mindfulness. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Laozi. Practicing gratitude and mindfulness aligns perfectly with the principles of Wu Wei. By being fully present and appreciating the moment, we reduce the friction of wanting things to be different from how they are. This doesn't mean complacency, but rather a profound acceptance that creates a fertile ground for wise action. In practice, this could mean starting your day with a gratitude journal, listing things you're thankful for, or practicing mindfulness in daily activities like eating or walking, fully engaging with the present moment. Wu Wei isn't about withdrawing from life, but engaging with it in a more aligned, harmonious manner. It's an invitation to dance with the rhythms of existence, to move with rather than against the current. In integrating these practices into our daily lives, we not only enhance our well-being, but also contribute to a more balanced, harmonious world. In the symphony of life, Wu Wei is the art of playing our part in perfect tune, creating a melody that's both powerful and serene.